But for Roy Kennedy, a descendant of these ancient Mungo people, this site feels like home.
When I visit this area and these burial sites around here, it's just like walking out to an ordinary cemetery and watering a grave. To me, it's very special.
But how long ago did the Mungo people live here? The distinctive colored bands in the sand are the key to dating any find. The red layers date back over 100,000 years, way before any sign of human habitation.
If you had to guess, knowing what you know about the site, what would you say?
I'd suggest in the range of 30 to 40,000 years.
It's incredible. I mean, it looks like it was done last week.
Yeah, well, certainly the bones are in good nick, aren't they? Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
They're incredibly ancient. The very oldest remains are dated to 40, maybe 45,000 years ago.
Having been here to Lake Mungo, I am convinced by the dates. Humans clearly were living in Australia very soon after they left Africa. And yet, this only serves to highlight the problem. How did they get here so quickly?
There's no evidence for a land journey, and a journey by sea? I just don't buy it. 6,000 miles of ocean is surely impossible. It's a long shot, but just maybe the descendants of those earliest settlers might hold a clue. The Aborigines are famous for their tradition of oral history. They call them songlines, and they tell the story of their beginnings passed down by word of mouth through the generations. Perhaps there's something in their songlines that hints at a journey. Roy from Mungo.
I don't know. That's a curly question, that one. I don't know. See, I believe that we come from here, and I think I will always believe that.
I've hit a dead end, but I've got the bit between my teeth and I'm heading north to Laura in Queensland. Do the rock paintings there hold clues to a possible migration?
There's a big hill right out. That's why we got water out.
But hard as I look, I can't see any evidence of a journey.
From here, right.
And when I ask Greg Inabla Goodbye Singh, an Aboriginal artist from Queensland, he really lets me have it.
You mentioned with DNA testing that you've got now will trace us back to Africa. I don't believe that.
Why not?
Because if our stories aren't correct, you know, if they are a myth, the way that you guys might believe they are, and we know they're not, why isn't it possible that the Africans actually come from us? You know, we branched out from here.
Yeah. It's complicated to explain. In a way, what I'd like you to think about the DNA stories we're telling is that they are DNA stories. That's our version as Europeans of how the world was populated and where we all trace back to. That's our songline.
Yeah.
We use science to tell us about that because we don't have this sense of direct continuity. Our ancestors didn't pass down the stories. We've lost them, and we have to go out and find them. And we use science, which is a European way of looking at the world, to do that. You guys don't need that. You've got your own stories.
We know where we come from. We know about creation. We know we come from here. We didn't come from nowhere else.
This really isn't going very well. Tradition rarely sits well with cutting-edge science. The Aborigine songlines say that mankind originated here in Australia. No stories about journeys. But the blood of Aborigines tells me that they've inherited a very ancient marker from Africa. It's around 50,000 years old, while Africans have no trace of Aboriginal markers in their blood. The human traffic was strictly one way, from Africa to Australia. The big question is, what route did they take? 50,000 years ago, the Ice Age had locked up the world's water. Sea levels were lower, making Indonesia one landmass. Australia was joined to New Guinea. Since then, rising sea levels have covered up any trace of their presence along this route. If these first African migrants traveled this road, then their genes and the elusive Australian marker might survive somewhere. I'm going to India to see if I can find any genetic trace of the Africans en route to Australia. If I can, it'll be the first direct evidence that native Australians came this way. Let's go see if we can make history. Madurai in southern India. My mission? To try and find the missing link. I'm looking for the genetic marker found today in Australian Aborigines that shows their ancestors traveled through India on their journey to their new home.
It's incredible to be here, and it really is like diving into a sea of humanity. There's so many faces.
It's a long shot, but someone out there may be carrying the genetic link I'm looking for. To help me track down the marker, I've enlisted the help of an old friend, Professor Pitchapan. We'll use his lab and its equipment for as long as it takes.
Hi, good to see you again. Oh, good. How was everything? Did you come here? It's been quite a while.
He took me off to a quiet cafe so we could talk. Quiet by Madurai standards, that is.
We've been following this coastal migration to Australia. So this is the reason we think that the Australians were able to get from Africa to Australia so quickly.
Yes.
Is that they followed a coastal route.
There is absolutely no archaeological evidence for the existence of ancient man in the South India.
Right. Let's get on the map.
Yeah.
Given what you know about the people living in southern India, which population should we sample?
Yes, there are many.
As we worked out which villages to test, the full reality of our experiment hit me. We were looking for a needle in a haystack the size of India, but Professor Pitchapan was upbeat.
Maybe after your study, it may prove that the genetic evidence is better than archaeological evidence alone, probably, right?
Well, with any luck.
Yes.
The following day, I set out to sample an isolated village west of Madurai. This is exactly the sort of thing Luca started doing all those years ago. These villagers are a prime sampling group. They've lived in this region for generations with few outsiders marrying in. The more indigenous and isolated these people are, the easier it should be to find the ancient marker. If it's here.
Name
Rajendra.
and address?
Genes are passed down through generations, so first off I take a detailed family history.
Okay, age?
55.
And intercaste marriage?
Okay.
Okay. Mother tongue?
Mother tongue Tamil.
Okay. Religion?
Hindu.
Hindu?
Hindu.
Remember I only sample men? The thing is, without the male Y chromosome, my hunt for markers would be virtually impossible. Let me explain why. Chromosomes come in pairs. We inherit one from each of our parents. With each new generation, the two chromosomes get chopped up and reordered, making each baby a unique combination of their parents. When that happens, it's bad news for me because I lose my marker trail. It's chopped to pieces by this genetic